Star Wars 7x7, episode 1889. Today, now that we know a little bit more about the Rise of Skywalker, or think we do, we're going to look back at working titles for episode 9 and see whether they tell us anything more than they had previously. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and here is the basis and background for what we're going to pursue in this episode. So when Lucasfilm gets into production on its films, they have to set up a company for it in England. And the names of these companies have a particular meaning. Sometimes the meaning is personal, sometimes the meaning is tangentially related to the movie in a way, but it gives a little bit of a hint of something. For example, Avco is the name of the company that they created for The Force Awakens, and the reason why it was named Avco was because of J.J. Abrams. It was the name of the theater where he first saw the original Star Wars, so a personal meaning there. Meanwhile, you had Space Bear Productions, which was the name of the company they created for the production of The Last Jedi. And that apparently came from discussions with Rian Johnson and the Lucasfilm Story Group, where they were talking about Luke and how he had gone into the wilderness, and were comparing it to Tristan from Legends from the Fall. Sorry, I'm gonna have to go see that movie, I guess. And there was some joking about whether he gets eaten by a bear, and then, as people accept an ad, somebody said, well, then he's a space bear. And so Rian Johnson apparently wrote that on a whiteboard, Space Bear, and then everybody subsequently got bear code names or bear-related code names throughout the production. And so that's how Space Bear evolved through the discussions about the characters in the story. Now, that brings us to episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, and the name of the company that was created in England to handle the production accounting for that movie is Carbonado Industries. Now, Carbonado is a black diamond. It is a diamond that is tinted black. It is the toughest form of diamond. In other words, you can hit it and it retains its shape, and you can hit it harder than any other diamond you can hit, and it will still be able to retain its shape and its integrity. Now, since Space Bear had something to do with a character from The Last Jedi, I thought it was worth considering whether Carbonado could relate to a character in The Rise of Skywalker. And it seems like there are really only two obvious possibilities, Rey or Kylo Ren, and so I figured we would take each in turn and see whether it's possible that it actually relates to one of the two of them. First of all, Rey. So one of the things that we learn about Rey in The Last Jedi, when she is meditating for Luke and she touches where the dark side of the Force resides on the island, she is observed as not having any fear or qualms about going to the dark side. She realizes that there is something that it has to tell her, it has to teach her, and she does it, and yet she's still able to maintain her goodness, her light side affiliation, if you will. So that, in a sense, is kind of Black Diamond-ish, I guess you could say, because it is, the diamond quality, the sort of light reflective idea that we have about diamonds, and yet tinted black, being able to touch that darker side and have it be a part of you, and yet still be that very pure crystalline diamond form. Meanwhile, you have Kylo Ren, and of course, one of the big questions about Kylo Ren is whether he is going to be redeemed by the end of episode 9. Is he going to actually become a good guy, or is he going to be defeated somehow? And if he's defeated, will he die? Well, I guess it's also possible that he could be redeemed and die as well. Obviously, that happened to his grandfather, so it's certainly in play here too. If he is redeemed, then he could also be the proverbial black diamond in this situation. And as has been demonstrated a couple of times, there is still good in him somewhere, or at least so it seems. He, of course, felt the pull to the light in The Force Awakens, and he also was described as having been split to the bone by the act of killing Han Solo. He could not pull the trigger on Leia when he had her in his sights. And yes, there was the conversation between Luke and Leia about Kylo being totally lost, but Luke did say no one's ever really gone, and so it's entirely possible that there is redemption in the cards for Kylo Ren, and I think that would fit the Black Diamond notion as well. Now, those are a couple of possibilities. It could also be that somebody at Lucasfilm is a rock climbing enthusiast and named it after the Black Diamond Company, which makes gear and equipment for rock climbing. That's actually the company that famously sued because it was depicted as breaking in the movie Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone, and they thought that that was going to be a bad PR thing for their products, that they would break in a situation where people needed it to work. And so, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But it's not the craziest thing about the notion of the Carbonado, and I'm going to share that craziest thing with you after the break. Stay tuned. This episode is brought to you by Constant Contact, the premier email marketing solution for small businesses and organizations. I've used their service since 2003, and over the past decade and a half, I've watched them evolve, make the product simpler, more powerful, easy to use, and do everything that they can to help train people to use the product more effectively and for it to work with other forms of marketing like social media, for example. So check out sw7x7.com/email to learn more about Constant Contact and start a free trial. Once again, that is sw7x7.com/email for a free trial. Welcome back. So, carbonados are only found in two places on Earth, the Central African Republic and in Brazil. And in particular, they are found in alluvial deposits. Now, alluvium is a type of loose soil that is reshaped by water and then deposited in a non-marine setting, according to Wikipedia. But listen to the word alluvial deposits. Alluvial as in alluvial dampers, the type of equipment on the Millennium Falcon that Han Solo is yelling about when they are trying to escape from the Empire in The Empire Strikes Back. I'm sure that coincidence is just random, but oh my gosh, as my kids would say, Illuminati confirmed, or something to that effect. Anyway, that is your crazy random fact about Carbonado, and there's your episode of today's show. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
This podcast is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other related Star Wars items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2019 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.